What are some of the early signs of emotional distress, and how can individuals take proactive steps to address them?
Yeah, honestly, I would say for me, the thing that I can only speak from personal experience. I would say extreme preoccupation was my big tell. I was never present in the moment. My brain was always somewhere else. The people who were in the room with me, they weren't my focus. It was always that, as he was referring to, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. I was always in, what might happen or what might not happen mode. All worry, no action. And then, slowly but surely that became worse. And it became not just preoccupation, it became procrastination. And then procrastination becomes stagnation. And then stagnation becomes what I would just call complete deflation, where you don't even want to get out of bed anymore. You don't want to clean up your room. You don't want to go anywhere. And, to your point again about growing up I grew up in northern New Jersey by all effects, what would appear to be a wealthy family, a happy family. I've been on some amazing vacations. I've gotten to fly on private jets, and none of that ever made me happy at all. None of it in any way, shape, or form. It made me feel empty, and I always felt bad for the other people who were sitting there waiting and who were miserable. It was very obvious to me that these people were not happy in the jobs that they were doing, and that these were people that would be snide and snickering behind the doors of like, look at these people, who do they think they are? And I was always like, yeah, these people are right. Who do we think we are? And I would always invite people to dine with us and whatever else. And I just, the world has always just seemed very unfair to me. And I think it's just, to answer your question, it's when you get to the point of you just look around and you can't see anything else but the negative, that's when you know something's wrong. Is because I've written about it before. When you go outside and you look and you just smell the salt air from the other by an ocean, or you go and you smell grass again, and you pay attention to the sun when it comes out, and you just feel nature and observe beauty, and stop paying attention to the digital world and start paying attention to the physical, beautiful, real world, and your whole paradigm, your whole perspective shifts. Is the real paradigm shift. So that's how I would answer that question. When you start seeing yourself distracted from reality, it's time to wake up.
Thank you, Chris. How about you, Roxandra? What do you think on this question?
So early signs of distress, I would say, especially if we talk about emotions, I would say it could actually be a case of seeing, when do you tend to explode? When do you start feeling that you're so irritable? When do you feel like it's enough and you're shouting, or you're just angry or frustrated? Those are the moments when you can actually start saying like, okay, here you go. Something is wrong, something is happening with me. Or if you have children, it's just so easy to see their behavior, to see the way they feel. If maybe they are, very frightened by something, or they are just sad or angry, or they are just doing misbehaving in general, then again, that might be a sign that something emotionally is happening in their world. And it's really, really important to go and talk on their level, and even with yourself, and identify what's causing you that state. Like, for example, for me, after years and years of working and understanding, where I am and what's causing me to feel horrible and miserable, it was a case of feeling hungry or not having proper sleep. And obviously, I had no idea how important it is to sleep, like literally to sleep. Like, especially I have 2 under 2, so with breastfeeding and everything, I was like, oh my gosh, sleep is so important. So those basic things, so even the need of water, you need to stay hydrated. Those are basic needs that we all have. And if those are not fulfilled, then guess what? Emotionally, yes, you can start being, not aligned. And this is when you show up as not a very nice and kind person. So this is my input, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Roxandra. We're going to move on to segment 2 now, which is cultivating emotional well-being. So the next question is, what are the key daily practices that can help enhance emotional well-being? What's your opinion on this, Dr. Annika?
Yes, and I will usually do practical things, so I'm still going to talk about practical things. And some of the daily practices, among other things, to enhance emotional well-being are taking short breaks often, and daily 30-minute walks. And the short breaks, they can just be like stretching, do something like that, or go get a glass of water, rehydrate. You talked about right now, or taking a few deep breaths, because in these moments your brain will have a rest and you can adjust to clear thinking again. And stress hormones go down when you take that break, and you will feel well and be more effective. The 30-minute walks are also a way to restore your brain, because you can think clearly while you use your muscles. So when you're doing things with your body, your brain is getting more straightened up again. And that's a gift from the evolution to help us to fight the animals on the savannah back then in the best way. So we could actually run to safety and not just run randomly, or to, if we needed to fight with the animals, to do the right things with your muscles, thinking, how can I do this? So you'd not be eaten.
Okay.
And today we have other challenges, but we reset the brain by moving. It also gives us fresh air when we walk outside, and maybe a glimpse of natural light too. And the 30-minute walks are today the first pill for light to medium depression to be tested before you even think about pills. That's what I order when I'm a doctor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Annika. How about you, Daniel Cobrin? What have you got to say on this question?
Well, on top of what Dr. Annika was saying, one thing which is quite useful is to start with the day with daily routines. And for everybody, it can mean different things. For instance, it can be practicing gratitude, you know, being grateful for 3 things we're really grateful for. Starting doing some journaling. Or it could be as well, for instance, doing some meditation. Very often, it's people like as well practicing some exercises. For instance, okay, we talked about walking, but in the morning, it could be some stretching, it could be some exercises. And one very important point is to try to distance oneself from phones and social media, just to take some time for oneself, relax. And the last point I would say, and it was mentioned before, I think by Roxandra, is really sleep. Sleep is so important, because this is really where we reconnect. This is where we recharge our batteries. And this is what enables us to be more energetic for the next day.